We are live from Connor's Music. It's 11:40 a.m. Eastern Time. Just poking in again with a little update on the summer sale as it continues. Yesterday we were featuring the D'Addario tuners, and most of the product that's on sale for this till Sunday is D'Addario product. Almost all of, in fact. But for this little pop in feature, I wanted to show a couple of the products that aren't D'Addario that we did put on sale for this Connor's Music summer sale. And they've garnered a lot of interest in the store. So we set up a little display with these, and I can't tell you how many kids when they walk in get immediately attracted to these items. They want to try them out, and of course we encourage that, in a controlled manner. Parents watching kind of thing. But of course, you want to let kids experience music. I think that's um, a very valuable gift you can give your kids and our young people. So if you can encourage their mind and then encourage them physically to be active, like, what else can what else can you do, right? So uh, this product, when it came in, what I liked about it is they're a set of drums, and you can buy them one at a time. And each drum encourages young people to play them and shows them how right on the drum, which I thought was super cool. So I'm going to show you each drum, and I'm going to play them a little bit as if I've never played one before, and I will tell you a little story about one of them when I get to it. And then if you have any questions, please pop them in there. If you're watching this morning as a parent and you're curious about anything that would help with your encouraging your kids to get into music, please fire those questions in there. I'm just going to stay live for about 20 minutes this morning. And then I'm going to pop on again this afternoon with a little guitar string comparison. So if you're more of a guitar player and interested in the guitar products that are on sale, then pop in. I don't know. It'll be about 1 o'clock, I think. In abouts, I will go live. So, and if you're watching, say hey. Even just to start the conversation there. So, because I can see the eyeballs. So, again, so we're going to feature a set of drums. These are designed for children to get into it. So let's start with. I'm going to start with this guy here. All right. So this drum here comes with these mallets that I'll show you in a second. Hi from One Tong. Thanks so much for tuning in. We got a household with a drummer in it. So, but no, maybe a little more experience than for these drums. But again, these are great for young people, so it's good to know about. And so this one's designed as a dual. They called it a floor. Whoa, check. It was resonating right into the mic as a dual floor tom or hand drum. So what I'm going to do as I feature each product, I will pop a link into the comment thread, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitch at this moment. It should be in your comment thread with a link right to the item that's on sale. So we're starting again with it's called Slap Percussion Plus or Slap Percussion. And you'll notice again, right on the drum, we've got indications of where you want to hit it. So this can be really valuable because, in the drum here, we've got a suggestion that that's the right spot here to hit it with a mallet. I want to get it right in frame here for you. Whereas, if you're hitting on the edge, like maybe a kid might, if they're not really aware of where the resonating part of the drum is, like even lots of adults aren't, which will bring me to my story in a second here. So, they just hit right on the indication and you get the nice sounding bit there. The other part I liked about the kind of floor tom design is these rubber feet prop it up off the ground so they can put it right on the floor. And this is what we did in the showroom. We just put it on the floor and away they went with the mallets. And you won't be able to see this, obviously. But if I just pop it, I've got a chair beside me. So I'm going to put it down on the chair. And if you put a drum on the floor and it seals it off, you'll typically mute a lot of the tone of it. All Here, I'm going to put the mic over to it so you can hear. I'll give you a little paradiddle here. Then we'll go to triplets. If you're just tuning in, you might be like, what is he doing? Can't see the drum. So again, this is the slap percussion floor tom. And so now I've shown you with the sticks. And again, these mallets come with the drum. And then we've also got some hand indication. And not only did they say like, hey, you know, you can hit it here. It says what kind of tone you're going to get. And this is something that, you know, again, you know, if you haven't had hand percussion experience, you may not know this at all. So you're going to, if you hit the center of the drum there versus, okay. And again, I'm going to do this into the mic where their indication on the side, you're going to get a much different tone. So I'll just prop this down here, put the mic on it, and you're going to hear these different tones. Okay. So we're going to go with a bass tone. Put it on an angle so I can follow the hand indications. It's in general a fairly bassy drum. So even hitting the rim, you're hearing the bass resonate, but it gives you some idea that the kids can learn right from the top of the drum. All right. So next up, this one's a fun one. It's modeled after an African drum, often referred to as a djembe. I'm actually going to put in the comments the spelling of that because this is a fun conversation piece in the showroom a lot of the time. There you go. So it's just djembe. But we had a group of people in the shop last week, and they told us they were from Africa. And they said, no, we don't call it djembe. What is it called? And I said, I've heard it's called gembe. And they said, yes, that's it. Exactly. We call it a gembe. So not a djembe. I think that's the only universally not acceptable name for this, but you can call it a djembe or a gembe. And once again, we've got the hand indications here. And I think on this drum, I'll show it to you in a sec. You'll hear the significant difference between the bass and the slap tones really vibrantly. It is rope tied like a traditional gembe or djembe would be. But it's a beginner one. So, you know, this is again designed for kids to get started or even like it's nice enough tone. You don't have to be a young child to enjoy this drum. But it would be a good way to get going with it. It's fabric covered, so it's very comfortable. They put a little rubber ring on it. So when you hold it, I like to kind of prop a gembe or djembe in between my legs, which I'll show you here. There you go. And I'm going to mic it up and you can hear, again, we're going to show you the bass tone and the slap tones on the edge here. Okay. And again, I'm going to turn it to myself. So I'm actually following the hand suggestions here. I think I'm getting the hang of it now. All right, there we go. So that's the slap percussion djembe. Definitely my favorite out of the group of drums. You know, I'm not an expert. I know we said chat with our experts. I'm not a djembe expert, but I do have a lot of experience teaching young kids, and I know that we're teaching kids in general. Just that, you know, if you make it accessible and you give them really good indications of what they can do to get the sounds out of it that are enjoyable, they're going to have a ton of fun. And if they're excited and having fun, they're going to learn better. You know, it's like sort of the question that comes up all the time is like, what's the best instrument to start a child with if they want to learn? And I think the answer is always whatever they're going to be most excited about. So sometimes a hand drum or a drum kit speaks to a child more, say, than a piano. But then another child walks in and just goes, "Oh, piano! That's what I've always wanted to play." Even though they're 4 or 5, they're like, my whole life I've always wanted to play, and you want to encourage that, because then they're gonna play more and practice more if it's what they're fired up about. So that's just my 2 cents. It seems to be a working formula. Um, that doesn't mean, if they say, "Oh, I'm not sure about this," or whatever, they're nervous, that you go, "Okay, well, then don't do it." Obviously, it's important to encourage our kids to get out and do activities that, again, feed the mind and get them active. So, all right, so I've got one more drum to show you. So this one, I've got my little story attached to it. So when my wife and I went to a trip to Cuba, and if you've ever been to Cuba, it's a very dense population of musicians, and it's phenomenal: artists, dancers, singers, musicians in general. So if you ever get to go, make sure you absorb as much of that as possible, because it's quite phenomenal. So one of their kind of common percussion rigs that you will see is bongos. And one thing I noticed is they would often have, and I saw this with several different performers. This wasn't like a one-off thing. They'd have the bongos on a stand, and then a cowbell attached to a beater that they would operate with their foot, like a bass drum pedal from a drum kit. So they could get the clunk, clunk, clunk with their foot, and then they'd be playing these attached to a stand. So it was a neat kind of percussion rig. I remember when I came back, the first thing I did was order bongos, a stand, a bass drum beater, and a cowbell, and set the rig up in the store. And a lot of people tried it and liked it. It's not the trendy thing here. There's lots of different, like cajones seem to be really trendy, and of course, drum kit playing is still hung in there as a very popular way of being the percussionist of a band. But in Cuba, I noticed this as a common setup. So this one, they take the bigger drum and they indicate the bass, and then they've said on the smaller drum, here's our slap tones. So we're going to try that out in a second. But what was really fun was we did this event. It was like they'd take us to the beach and you have a lobster dinner, and it was a really cool thing. And they had a percussionist performing, and then he did a challenge where he said, if you could come up and hit the drum and make a sound out of it. And I was like, okay, like that shouldn't be that hard in my mind, because I've grown up with percussion instruments in the music store, my whole life. So I kind of knew, like, if you hit the drum, how to get the tone. But if you put your hand, you hit your hand and don't slap it, and rest it on the drum, it just kills the tone. And I hadn't thought about it, but if you haven't experienced these, that's likely, you hit it and you go, oh, that's, and the Cuban percussionists would, like, he's hitting it and sounding amazing, way better than that. And then he'd be like, okay, come on up. And they'd be like, okay. And everyone started giggling, like, oh, these tourists don't know how to play the bongos. And so then he gave a quick tutorial, which is basically what we're seeing on this drum. And so that if you hit the center of the drum and get your hand out of the way so the head can resonate, and that if you want that rim tone, that slap tone, to get your hand out of the drum and onto the rim. So I'm going to give you a quick demo of the bongo, and then we'll wrap up today's little product demo. But please, like, I know you're watching, feel free to throw your questions and comments in there so that I can reply to them after this quick bongo demonstration. So here we go, slap percussion bongo. I got to put the links in. So let's add the djembe, and then after, or gembe, it's an 8-inch rope tuned. So I'm going to put that in the comment thread there. And then right after I show you the bongos, I'll add that one in the comment thread as well, so that it's all accessible to you. Now, the sale, for those of you that are watching it after we went live, when we completed our live broadcast, the sale goes till Sunday, July 28th, which you can purchase online. In store is available till we close on Saturday, July 27th. So there you go. That's the little indication on that. All right, so bongos coming up here. See them there. This is our floor tom over there. So the bongos are there. the mic, sorry. There we go. And I caught the drum. I wanted to move the mic, and then I'm like, wait, I'm trying to do too much here. So there you go. Slap percussion, bongos, djembe, and floor tom. We have them all on sale. I'm gonna pop the bongo link in here for you right now. The slap bongo drums. And I hope you enjoyed that little product demo. And if you have any questions, I'll keep an eye on the comment thread after the live broadcast is done, and we'll try to reply, in text format. And then I'll come on live this afternoon sometime to give a little demo of two guitars. You might have glimpsed them behind me with two different types of D'Addario strings that are both on sale. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you and our other experts. We'll see you throughout this week with little pop-in product demonstrations, conversations, and whatnot. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Stay well.